Hello, Anil. How are you?
Yeah, Dev, I'm fine. But what about you?
I'm fine too. So, what are you cooking today? What is the topic for today?
So it's very special for me and any network enthusiast. So in the last
Yeah,
video, we have seen about this VRF, right? So we'll probably have a hands-on on VRF in today's video.
would be very
So
interesting to.
yeah, so let's give a quick overview for the viewers who might be like on the first day viewing this video. So for them, following the last video, in the last video we have discussed this problem that for a service provider company, that might be two customers having, like say internally, they will be using two same subnets, and how the service provider will make sure that these both customers will not collide. Like they can't, for the service from the service provider perspective, they can't have two subnets being routed from their internal servers, or you can say internal routers. So there was this problem that we have discussed, that this is the service provider's router and these are two same subnets. So this router will be confused that whom to serve and what routes to consider. So the solution that we have discussed, that was first was very basic, to add extra hardware, and we can have like the, what you can say, this IP translation, so network address net basically. So we can convert this IP to another different IPs, and we can have a distinguishing between this customer and this customer. But that was having us to like grabbing us, like we need to have extra hardware for that. So in order to reduce that, the solution that we have discussed, that was VRF. So VRF, what does
Yeah,
it basically, it separates the routing table. Like we can have multiple instances of a routing table. To, let's say we want one routing table for this customer, one routing table for this customer. So that way the router will be having
mm,
distinguishing between this subnet and this subnet. So, and also we have compared it with the VLAN and VRF. So these were the conclusions of last video. And now in today's video, we'll start with
yeah,
the practical review. So this was the problem. And to demonstrate this, we will be having like this topology. So I will be using actual hardware, the simulation hardware, and these are the devices that we will be using today. And let's say these is the service provider routers. These two are the service provider company, and these two are like say customer. The first one is IBM, and the second one is Dell. So there are two sides of IBM, and there are two sides of Dell. They are having direct connection with the service provider, and these are internal routers for the service provider. So the problem is, this IBM and the Dell have same subnet. You can see 10/8, 10/8, 20/8, and 20/8. So now in order to distinguish 10, this IBM's 10 and this Dell's 10, we'll be configuring VRF on these two routers. So these is like what it looks, the one routing table for IBM, this routing table for Dell. So these both routers will have three routing tables, one for the default, one for the IBM, and one for the Dell, and this router also. So let me just quickly show you the uh, configuration. So this is the chart, what you can say, I have created,
yeah,
and this is the like this was a very basic configuration to like a logical topology. So this is actual physical topology. So basically I have described all the IPs, all the ports, all the devices name, and I have all those SSH, or what you can say configuration terminal access of all those devices in here. So basically you can see leaf 1, leaf 2, host 1, host 2, spine 1, spine 2, right? And this we need to configure.
yeah,
So these leaf 1 and leaf 2 are service providers routers. This purple one is IBM. So IBM routers are spine 1 and spine 2. And this green one is Dell. So basically they are host 1 and host 2, right? So first, let us configure the IP only. So first, let me demonstrate how to configure the basic IP, and then I'll be just copy pasting the command, since there are lots of configurations to do. So I have made the list. So I will be first, let's demonstrate for the leaf one. So leaf one, there are four ports: ETH1, ETH2, ETH3, and ETH7. So on ETH1 there is 71, ETH2 there is 81, ETH3 there is 31, and on ETH7 there is 41, and all subnets are /8, same only, right? So first of all we'll go for the leaf one, and you can see we are currently on the global configuration mode. So I can just go for interface ETH E1, or I can, these are shortcuts. So basically you can just type INT and press tab.
Yeah.
So it will autocomplete, and there is the interface, and I can write ETH and I can press tab. And if I want to configure for the 3, then I'll press 3. And now we are in the configuration mode for the interface Ethernet 3. And now first command that we'll write is no switch port. So basically no SWI, and then we press tab. And for the shortcut we can just write no SW. And by this command we'll configure this port to work on layer 3. Currently it is like layer 3 switches, all the devices are layer 3 switches. So in order to put that port in the routing table, or you can say to enable routing on that port, we need to mention no switch port. So it will be routed port after we write that command. Now we'll configure IP address, and to configure IP address we have this IP address command. And now on the Ethernet 3, you can see this is 30.1/8. So we can just write 30.1/8. And we want to make this port on, like we want to make this port not in the shutdown. So like it will be an active and listening. So to do that we can write no shut command, and that's it. We have configured the port Ethernet 3 on this leaf 1. And now we can follow up with all those similar commands. So interface E3, then it was interface E1, what you can say, Ethernet 1, and then no switch port, then IP address, and on in Ethernet 1 there is 70.1, as you can see. So we'll write 71/8, and we'll write no shut, right? So that's how we configure the interfaces. Now you can configure all those interfaces. Now I will we have configured 3 and 1, so I will copy 2 and 7. So basically I will just cut this, I will paste it after here, and I will copy these 2, and I can just paste it over here. So you can see now we just need to write, to enable the routing on this device, we need to write IP routing. And now to verify now to verify that we have configured all the things like perfectly, we can write show IP interface 3. So you can see all those 1, 2, 3, 7, and they are configured with the following IP addresses, right?
Yeah.
And we can verify each 7, 70, 41. So everything is perfect. Now we can configure IP address for the leaf 2, and I will just copy paste this command. Sorry. So on the leaf 2 we can directly paste this command. So basically these are just IP configuration. We can write IP routing, and after we do that we can just write show IP interface brief, and you can see everything is configured perfectly. Now for the spine 1 and spine 2, for the IP
Yeah.
configuration, we can just copy these two commands. So on the spine 1, yeah, we'll press exit, press, and now sorry. So you can see we have configured, uh, there is one loopback that we have configured. So basically loopback is like not having actual interface. There is a virtual interface, but it will be having IP address. So we can ping
Yeah.
this device also. So there is a loopback we have configured on this device, right? Now for the spine 2, we can copy and paste these commands. Spine 2, we can paste, and now we can type bash clear and show IP interface brief. So you can see everything is configured perfectly. Now we will do the same for the host 1 and host 2. So we'll copy this configuration. This is very basic IP configuration. So let's not waste much time on this. So we'll paste this here. We'll type bash clear and show IP interface brief. So you can see everything is configured perfectly. Now on
Yeah.
this host 2 also, we'll copy these commands from here. We'll paste it, and now we'll type bash clear to clear the screen. Now for the verification, we'll type show IP interface brief, and you can see everything is configured perfectly. Now what we need to do? So we need to configure VRF on this leaf 1 and leaf 2. So what we will do, you can see the topology, right? So we'll put this Ethernet 3 1 port for the leaf 1 to be in the VRF IBM. And to do that, we first need
Yeah.
to create two VRF, the VRF IBM and VRF Dell, right? So in this leaf 1, first we'll create two VRFs, IBM and Dell, and then we'll put Ethernet 3 port and Ethernet 1 port in the IBM VRF. So VRF means virtual routing and forwarding, and Ethernet 7 port and Ethernet 2 port in the Dell VRF, right? So to do that, there is a command, and you can see these are the commands. So let me just first demonstrate on the leaf 1, and then we can proceed with the copy and paste. So in order to create VRF, first we need to make sure that we are in the global configuration mode. So as you can see, we are in the global configuration mode. And now to create the VRF, we can write VRF instance, right? And then the name of the instance of the VRF. So first is IBM. And now you can see we are in the VRF configuration mode for the IBM. We don't need to configure much, so we can just press exit. Now again we are in the
Yeah.
global configuration mode, right? So we can again type VRF instance, and we can create another VRF named Dell, right? And remember, uh, when you are using multiple switches, so VRF name is like it should be identical between devices. So devices will verify the VRF name. Let's say this IBM is capital, and you can, if you configure IBM in small caps, so it will not match the VRF. So make sure, let's say if you're using multiple devices, then it should be consistent across all the devices, right? So we have created VRFs, two VRFs, right, on this leaf 1. Now we need to make uh, this ETH1 and ETH3 ports to be in VRF IBM 1 and 3, right? So to do that, there are
Yeah.
these commands, right? So let me just first 1 and 3. Okay, so we can configure like this, E1 and 3. So by doing this, we can configure Ethernet 1 and 3 port at the same time. And now we need to type VRF and then the type of the like name of the VRF. So you can see uh, we as we put this port into IBM VRF, the IP configuration will be removed, right, from both of these ports.
Yeah.
So now we can
Mm.
use now we can configure IP address again. So we can just type exit interface E1, and now we can type IP address, and for the one we have 71/8, we can type again no shut. Now we can go for interface E3, and here we can write IP address 31/8, and we can write no shut, and we can press exit. So now let me just
Yeah.
show IP VRF, and now okay, show VRF, show VRF, just a second. Okay, and now we can write IBM. So you can see in the IBM VRF we have these two interfaces, IPv4 configured with IPv4, right? Now we can do this same for the uh, these two ports, these 2 and 7. So we can type, first of all let me type bash clear. Now we can go for interface E2 and 7. We can write VRF and done. Now we can write exit. We can go for interface E2. We can write IP address
Yeah.
81/8. No shut. Interface E7. IP address 41/8. No shut. Exit. And if we show VRF del, so you can see 2 and 7 are configured in the del VRF. So now
Yeah.
we can just do the same for the leaf 2 also. So for the leaf
Mm.
2, we can just now copy and paste because the commands are same. So this is for the leaf 2. So you can see by these two commands will create IBM VRF. These two commands will create Dell VRF. These two commands will put
Yeah.
port number 1 and 4 to be in IBM VRF. Now these commands will put Ethernet 2 and 9, this 2 and this 9, it will put on Dell VRF. So let me just copy this, and
Mm.
now let me just go for the leaf 2. Let me just paste this command. Okay, now we can configure the IP addresses again. So for the configuration of IP addresses, we can directly copy and paste these commands. So basically it will not make any changes. Yeah, and now we press exit. Let me type bash clear to clear the screen, and now show VRF IBM. So you can see 1 and 4 ports are in IBM VRF. And now let me
Yeah.
just, so you can see 2 and 9, 1 and 4, they are in what you can see IBM, and 2 and 9 are in Dell. Now, in order to have routing, there are several protocols that we can use. But for the sake of example, we'll continue, or we can say we are good with the static routes. So we need to configure static routes for the leaf 1 and leaf 2. So I will demonstrate for the leaf 1. So these are the command for configuring of static routes, right? So let me just go for the lift one. And as you can see, let me explain this command. So as you can see, for configuring the route, now we need to configure route, right? So let's say
Mm.
leaf one, for the leaf one, there are connected, it knows 30, 40, 70 and 80 networks because they are directly connected. Now let's say leaf one, what happens if leaf one need to be like, it needs to route the traffic for the 10 network. So there are two 10 networks. For first is for IBM and first is for Dell. So now we need to make sure that we provide, let's say, if there is a packet for this 10/8 network, and it is coming for this port, Ethernet 1 port or Ethernet 3 port, like in general, any ports that are in IBM VRF. So for IBM VRF, if traffic is coming, like the destination IP is 10, then it should be routed for from this
Yeah.
30.1 because it is having access to this 10 network, right? So
Yeah.
that's we
Yeah.
have configured over here IP route. And for the VRF IBM, if any traffic for this network, let it route from 30.2. And as you can see, 30.2 is next hop address for the spine 1. That means next
Yeah.
hop for this network. So that's how we have configured the IP routes. And for the 60,
Mm.
let's say leaf 1 doesn't know where is the 60, but leaf 2 does. So for the 60, the traffic should become, uh, let's say it is coming from the IBM. So it should be routed from this 72. So this we have configured from 72, right? And
Yeah.
that's how we have configured all static routes. So I will not explain much. I will just copy these commands. Basically, that's just the static routes, right? So let's just paste it here, and
Yeah.
let me just copy for the leaf 2 also. Sorry. So for the leaf 2, I will paste this configuration, static routes. Now for the spine one, we don't need to think much because every traffic it is coming from this port and it will leave from this port only. So we can configure one route
Yeah.
like this, like any traffic, let it go through 60.2 for the spine one. Sorry, for the spine one, any traffic, it should be go from, it should let it go from 32. And as you can see,
Yeah.
30.2 is the port address. So we can configure this way for the spine one because there is no much logic in that. So we can just paste these commands over here. Okay, so it's not like this. It should be 30.1. Okay, and now for the spine 2, any traffic that comes and goes, let it go through 60.1, right? So we can just put 60.1 on the spine 2, and on the spine 2 we can just paste this command, enter. Now this will be same for
Yeah.
the host 1 and host 2 because host 1 is having only one port. So any traffic coming and going, let it go through 40.1. So we just need to configure 40.1 on the host 1. So host 1, let me paste this. And for the host 2, any traffic coming and going, let it go through 50.1. So, and host 2, sorry, yeah. And now we are good to go. Let me just show you. So first of all, let me just write patch clear. Let me write show IP route. So this command will show you the default VRF routing table. So you can see
Yeah.
default VRF routing table is empty because there is nothing we have configured on the default route. Now we will see the routing table for the IBM. Sorry, show IP route VRF IBM. As you can see, for the what you can say this VRF IBM, we have this routing table. So you can see
Yeah.
we have configured these static routes, right? So it knows now where to go, and we can see the same for the, let me just write for the Dell VRF also. So we can write this command show IP route VRF Dell, and as you can see, everything is reachable via this also. So now what we can do
Yeah.
is, you can see, if let's say we are trying to reach 20 from this host 1, so it should go via this Ethernet 2 and then this, so it should be reachable. And from here, if we go and try IP ping this 20.1, so it will go via this, because that's how the route has been configured. So
Yeah.
let me just go for the host 1, and let me write ping 21. Okay, it is not reachable. First of all, let's ping on 40.1. So you can see 40.1 is pingable. Now let us again try to ping on 80.1. So so you can see 80.1 is also reachable. Now let me just write bash here. Sorry. Now let us try to ping this 80.2. Okay, so let me just write.
One eternity later.
I don't think so. We have misconfigured on lead 2. Okay, let me write IP routing VRF Dell. Now here also IP routing VRF Dell. Now here also IP routing VRF Dell. And now let me type ping VRF Dell. Okay. So I think we have found the misconfiguration. So misconfiguration was actually nothing, but we didn't enable the routing for the Dell VR. So basically roots were there, but the routing for Dell was like this VRF was not enabled yet. So now I think we can reach up to 50.2. Let's try to reach 50.2. So you can see now I think we can reach to 20.1, and as you can see, we can ping from here to here, and that same we can do for the spine one. But for the spine one, let's try to enable. Let's try just to ping first. Let us now ping to 70.2. So ping 70.2. So as expected. Now we can type bash clear. Now we can, I think, IP routing. Okay, and now on the leaf we can type this command for IBM. We can enable routing for the IBM. and here same on the leaf 2. And now on the spine 1, as you can see on the spine 1, we can try to ping 70.2. Hopefully we can reach up to there, and as you can see we can reach up to there. Now we can try to ping this 60.2 and then after 20.1. So 60.2, and yeah, we can reach. Now we can try to ping 20.2. So as you can see, we can ping that all the devices. So this is our actual physical connection that we have configured over here, and you can see there are 3 different routing tables on this device, and you can see there are 2 same subnets, 10.1, 20.1, and here also 10 and 20. But still we can ping, we can route our traffic, and as you can see this is the configuration. So once again, let me show you the routing tables. So first routing table on leaf 1 is this default routing table, which doesn't consist anything. The second routing table is this for the IBM. So this is show IP route VRF IBM. So this is the routing table for the IBM. So basically we have configured static routes only, but we can configure OSPF, eBGP and everything. And this is the routing table for Dell. Sorry. So as you can see, we have 3 instances of routing table configured on this leaf 1, and similarly on this leaf 2 also. So that's how we are able to configure this, like same subnets, we are able to configure the same subnets, although we can combine in this topology. So that's the, what you can say, configuration of the VRF. That's a practical session. Hopefully you have got the idea that how we can configure the VRF and how we can solve those problems. So these were all the commands that I have used, and yeah. So do you have any question? If you, Dave?
No, that's a really great practical you had, and that mistake that really helped us well to not the viewers will not learn from
Yeah.
that.
So actually these all the devices
Yeah.
are
So
ZXT switches. So to enable routing, we need to always type this IP routing command. But as we have created VRF, we need to also write this IP routing. We need to also enable the routing for VRFs also. So that we have forgot, and it took more than half an hour to resolve. So
yeah, just we just explained the mistake and to save your time.
Yeah. So that was it. Don't forget to enable the routing for all the VRFs if you have VRF configured on your devices. So basically that was it. If you have any questions related to VRF, if you want any specific content for the VRF, then you can ping us in the comment. So if we talk about all the resources, we'll surely help. We are happy to help you in every way possible. And if you need these resources, you can always go for the Video Geeks website.
I have shared it in the links.
So yeah, this is our website. You can anytime come here, and under the Video Geeks section, you can find all the related videos and stuff. So we will be sharing all the resources over here. So you can watch this video on YouTube. You can read the what you can say blog type of content, and we'll be sharing the resources
in more depth.
In more depth, obviously. So yeah, that's all about today's video, and
yeah, just like Neil said, enable routing and subscribe also, turn on notifications, and yeah, that's it from. Thank you, Hanil.
Yep.